Get a shop manual, you're gonna need it. Get a set of torque wrenches, you're gonna need it. Label stuff as you take it apart. Don't get in a hurry. I mean, if you do it over the course of a few weekends, so what? I think the little doohickey bolt has to come out of there. And that's the doohickey arm. Your stator inner cover. Now, just in case you've never seen the doohickey up inside there, I'll give you a little peek at it. Try not to get my camera oily. This is your primary chain that goes to the balancer up here, goes to the clutch, it goes to the crankshaft, it goes to an idler gear, just has some guides in there, and this is the tensioner on the idler. There's your tensioner spring. That one's nice and tight, there's no issues with that. And that could be aftermarket Eagle Manufacturing tensioner spring. I'm not all that familiar with them. I'm not a KLR expert, I guess. In fact, this is only the second one I've ever had apart, but I've sure had a lot of engines apart. Nobody's ever showed me any of this stuff. I've learned it all just on my own. I've been a lifelong rider myself, been wrenching on stuff. When I was a little kid, my dad never had time to give me a hand. He was always busy with work. He was self-employed. Self-employed tradesman, and I started riding when I was 6 or 8 years old. I mean, it came down to, hey, if the bike broke, you gotta wrench on it yourself, because Dad doesn't have time. And yeah, there's a lot of moving parts in here, but I mean, it's just not brain surgery, guys. You absolutely do not need to go to a 4-year mechanic school to get in there and change your primary chain tensioner parts. It's just not that hard. I kind of remember the whole, like I said, I've only done this once. I think the whole primary chain and sprockets, it kind of all has to come out as one piece, if I remember right. Way to get that tensioner chain off there. I guess I do have a spring puller. Basically a little J-hook. That worked. Of course, I'll have to find the. Oh, there it is. I thought it went flying. Just bounced off my shirt. There's the doohickey spring. With that off there, now we can get the idler out of there, and that'll give us some play. Keep each little piece grouped together for future reference. Slider. Cam chain guide, jam cam slider. Yeah, so basically ever since I was a little kid, I have not been afraid to tear into something and work on it. Otherwise, if I don't, it ain't gonna get fixed. I've never really had the money to give somebody $100 an hour to fix my stuff for me, because most of the bikes I've had simply are not worth paying all that money to have them fixed. Chain. I think we're off plate. Maybe it's these two gears that kind of have to come off with the chain. The forward and the upper. They just got a snap ring on them that I've already taken off. A shim. Always got to watch for shims. Two shims on the rear one, upper rear. There's the front balancer gear. I don't believe it has any shims. And there's your, well, I'm not sure that would actually be called a primary chain. Maybe it is. I can't remember. Maybe that's called the balancer chain, but if it goes between the crankshaft and the clutch, it's a primary as well as balancer. So here's a little view of the left-hand case with pretty much all the gears stripped out of it. Now all you gotta do is have a factory manual and a little bit of patience and a few tools such as a torque wrench. And it's not all that bad to put that back together. Pins. And there's been a few exceptions to this rule, but generally, if you're taking a cylinder apart, a cylinder head off, a cylinder off, or splitting the cases, if something's going really super hard, you might still have a bolt. It's well worth stopping, getting a flashlight, maybe even walk away from the damn thing for a minute. Because if you're like me, if you don't, you might just get mad and get a bigger hammer and start really beating on stuff, and it certainly ain't gonna help nothing. Not if there's still a bolt in there, and there's a shim. Leave that one on the lower gear, or probably the doohickey. You gotta really watch the shims. There's a whole bunch of shims in an engine. Oh, they look like a washer. It's basically the same thing as a washer. It's just, shimming whatever out to whatever dimension it needs to be. Don't think there's anything else holding that cylinder on other than the gasket and the pistons at top dead center, so I put it at bottom dead center. That might help a little bit to give it a little play. I have had some. The most memorable was a KX250 two-stroke cylinder. My God, that thing came off hard. Unreal. And I kept stopping, and what the heck, gotta be a hidden bolt somewhere. If there wasn't, man, that thing came off hard. I don't know if somebody glued the gasket or... That would be the hardest cylinder I've ever taken off. And I'll bet it took me an hour to get that cylinder off there with a painter's tool and a hammer just tapping on it. And pretty soon, I didn't have any choice. I just had to start hitting it really, really hard. Thought for sure I was going to break something. I finally got it off, but... every once in a while, there'll be a cylinder that comes off really, really hard. I hope this isn't one of them. Because it should have probably let go by now. Once you do this quite a bit, you can kind of tell by the sound, too. If it has a hollow sound, that's a good sound. If it has a solid thunk sound, clunk, 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 that could be a bolt still somewhere. I've seen a lot of hidden bolts over the years. Grease covered them up. Yeah, mostly hidden by grease and nothing else, which is a good reason not to do a extremely dirty engine. It's hard to see the dang hardware when they're that greasy. And boy, this one's coming off harder than most. Should probably take my own advice and check around here. Aha! There's a secret bolt. That'll do it. One little 8mm bolt's all it takes. That sounded pretty hollow too. I didn't really hear the thud sound, but I'll bet it comes off now. So with rare exception, you really shouldn't have to hit the cylinder all that hard. Unless it's a 2003 KX250. Man, I still have bad memories of that. As far as pry bars go, you can pry all you want. Basically, it's the last guide. Basically, when something gets boogered up with a pry bar is when it stops moving. As long as it's moving ever so slightly, you can pry. Yeah, you gotta be careful on mating surfaces and stuff, but I think that piston is actually in there cockeyed. It was. But yeah, I used a pry bar there to lift it up a little bit off the cylinder. There's nothing wrong with that unless you still have a bolt in there. You know, if it's stopped dead and you pry on it with a pry bar, yeah, you're gonna tear something up, the mating surface, or you're gonna do something bad. But as long as there's no physical reason for the thing not to move, then yeah, pry bars are generally okay to use. I gotta get kids from school in a few minutes, and I gotta rip gloves, so we'll finish this up later tonight or tomorrow or whatever. One thing I always use safety glasses on is the piston wrist pin clip. I've had these things go flying and bounce off my eyebrows. I should probably wear safety glasses more often than I do, but especially for that little clip, I won't do them without it. Of course, that one doesn't want to slide out my finger. Kind of nice to get the piston off there right away so it's not banging around on the cases. You put that back down to top, bottom, center to keep it from banging around. Try to keep my work area pretty clean or stuff's going to be falling on the floor. Or you'll have a whole pile of nuts and bolts and not remember what the heck they go to. In my opinion, it's well worth taking a little bit of extra, take a few extra minutes and keep stuff organized. And that's the painter's 5-in-1 tool. I've got a newer one. There's an old school one. I believe that was actually my grandpa's. But you can get those at Home Depot for a couple bucks, $5. It's nice. It's tapered, so it's a pry bar. It's a lot thicker than a putty knife. And I don't remember what the other 5 functions are, because actually I think the last one I bought was a 7-in-1, and it's got some other paint can opener deals, notches and stuff cut in it, but I don't know why they call it a 5-in-1. I have to ask the painter. Scraping, I'm sure, I guess you could use that end to tap nails in or something. whatever other 3 things you want to use it for. Throwing at your coworker's head when he pisses you off. Now this is a good opportunity. There's going to be some oil still in the bottom of that case. I drained this thing for several days. Really good. But it never gets all of it. This is a good time to turn on the side. Right now there's oil dripping on the balancer shaft. Just a little bit of oil trickling here and there. The oil is going to come out of there sooner or later. It's nice to remove what you can. Kind of a controlled situation. So there's the left-hand side of the motor. Pretty much done. Leaves the clutch side of the motor to do. I'll definitely do a part 2 here. Probably have to recharge my GoPro. The right gloves definitely had it. The left gloves still pretty good. So we'll do this side next. I do monetize my videos now. They have a commercial in them. And the reason I do that is not to make money, because I don't. Right now, my YouTube earnings are about $20 a month. $15 a month. It ain't much. But I've got a video camera, and a video camera works a lot better than a GoPro for doing this. I don't really like using the GoPro, but my Sony digital video camera with going to Windows 10 is no longer supported. There's no longer, or there's no whatever patch or whatever you want to call it, or program file, whatever app, I guess, in Windows 10. There's no app for my, oh geez, $750 Sony Handycam digital hard drive Handycam. Yeah, I paid a lot of money for that, and it's probably 10 years old, but well, it's got such low use and it makes such nice video. It's not HD. It came out just a couple years before the HD one, so don't be too annoyed by the ads on my videos. I'm just trying to make a couple bucks so I can buy a better video camera without paying for it out of my pocket. I'm just trying to get YouTube to pay me back for the videos I'm making, because I certainly don't make any money making these videos. If you think I do, start your own YouTube channel, unless you got some viral stuff. And believe me, engine teardown videos never go viral. You ain't never gonna get 1 million views with a video like this. So I'm just trying to make a couple bucks to. Oh, the camera I had my eye on, I don't remember now, but it's a Sony. I don't know. It was like $400, something like that. So at the rate I'm going, that'll take what, like 3 years. But anyway, that's what the ads are there for. Sorry to put pop-ups and crap on the YouTube stuff, but it's hard to make free videos and buy video equipment, you know. Anyway, be back later for part 2. Thanks for watching.